He's crossed his 1 month of the major league of it being in the major leagues right now, right? So let's talk about him. The anticipation was killing us, right? When's Henry Davis going to get here? He finally arrives. Tyler, talk to us about Henry Davis, what you've been seeing from him.
Yeah, I think early on it was pretty apparent that he looks very comfortable, and it feels like any concerns about the bat playing. I don't know that there are many, but maybe some concerns that if he's not at catcher, would the bat play other places as much? I don't know that we ever really had those thoughts. Some other people might have, but I think those have kind of been put to bed. I think you really like what you've seen from him in totality. We're starting to see the power come around for him a lot. The bat to ball skills have really gotten better since probably his first week up here. We saw a few too many strikeouts, but the walk rate was really good. The approach looked really good, so we weren't really too concerned. And I think now we're starting to see it kind of be put together. And I'm just talking from a at the plate perspective here. Nothing defensively because that's a work in progress. But at the plate, I think a lot of the concerns about the bat have been put to bed if there were any.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you saw what he did in Double A, but granted, he's a 23-year-old killing Double A, right? Let's
Right.
get this guy up to some competition he belongs in, and he goes to Triple A just for a little bit here. Triple A didn't skip a beat, basically doing the same thing he was doing in Double A, but again, all minor leagues, right? So he makes the jump. Now I'm with you. I just felt he's major league ready. That was his calling card. That's why you drafted him, among other reasons. 1-1, because the bat was going to absolutely play. Like you almost had no doubt about it, right? But yeah, like you said, when it comes to the majors, things can happen. You don't know. And is it going to be enough that he could be like a corner outfielder? If he's a right fielder, is the back going to be enough, right? And it's early, right? You can't really say you have answers to the questions, but I think we're leaning towards an absolute yes. Like you said, like it's not even just the fact that like when you look at his numbers, he's batting 284, 381, slugging 451, has a 129 weighted on the created plus. Like it's not even just that, like the numbers in total. It's the fact that like you watch him and he just looks like a major leaguer. He absolutely does. You see the power coming. That was one of the things that I'm not going to say worry, but you wanted to see more of early. Like he had just the one home run in 100 plate appearances.
Hmm.
And it was like, well, it's Henry Davis. Like he has a lot of raw power. Then he hits 2 home runs in a game, right? You talk about that one home run he hit foul. Um, and then like he's hit a couple away, like the double he had yesterday too. Like,
Right.
yeah, Henry Davis looks like a dude. And he plays like a dude. That's like the other thing. You know what stood out to me yesterday too? Like this is the little things, right? When Henry Davis popped it up, I think it was his last at bat. He like kind of popped it up to the shortstop, right? Dude was pissed. Like as soon as that ball went up, he threw his bat down and then just ran as hard as he could at first base. Like the hustle is
Hmm.
in there, right? Just everything about him. Like even when he fails, you love to see what you see out of him, right? Like he's just a complete competitor, wants to win. Yeah, there's not much offensively I don't like about Henry Davis right now.
Yeah, I don't think we're really going to be too concerned about him not running out a ground ball or something like that. I don't feel like we're ever going to see him get benched for any laziness.
Right.
So that's not a concern. The other part is I think we're starting to see that the ground ball rate start to slowly drop down. Early on, he was pounding the ball into the ground a lot, and a lot of that's just finding your timing and cleaning up the bat path a little bit. But a lot of it is timing. Um, and we're starting to see that really come together with even with the 4 home runs and all the doubles we've seen him put up there lately, and really just the way the strikeout rate has just slowly dropped.
Mhm.
He's he's just not striking out as much now. Everything just looks really good from him at the plate. At the plate.
Yeah, and I guess to read those up, right? The ground ball rate just 52% right now, which is way higher than like his career numbers in the minors and such. But yeah, strikeout rate 18.6, walking 11, right? Like those are normalizing. The dude was like striking out, walking at the same rate. Like we're talking about like Juan Soto type stuff in the minors. We weren't expecting Juan Soto stuff in the majors,
Mhm.
but to your point, right? Like that's starting to normalize a little bit here also in the majors. And we're talking just still 118 plate appearances. Like it's
Right.
still very, very young for his career. I'm not sure if the league is still going to make adjustments and make it harder for him. Um, but
Sure they
like
will.
yeah, but like he is right now the best Pirates hitter on the team. That's where
Yeah.
he's at.
So I guess my question I'd pose to you is, what do you even consider a ceiling at this point?
Dude's got a bat. Um, I mean, I honestly like a lot of talk was Kyle Schwarber, but I feel like that's almost a negative
Right.
to Henry Davis. Like I just feel like he's too complete of a hitter. Put it that way. I mean, Schwarber's is excellent offensively. I mean, he has the power. Like like value wise, it might total out to be about the same
Mhm.
offense, right? Where Schwarber's hitting 50 bombs and, maybe Henry Davis doing 20, 25, but he's batting closer to 300. I just feel like he's a much more complete hitter. Um,
I think maybe Schwarber was more of what you thought. At worst case scenario, this is what we could be looking at.
yeah, that's
Maybe not a
fair.
ceiling, but maybe not worst case scenario, obviously, because Kyle Schwarber's still really good. But
Right.
just maybe what we thought we might see is the more likely outcome if the strikeouts start to creep up like they do with everybody. Right now, I don't even know where I'd say because so much of it relies on where he ends up defensively.
Right.
If somehow he ends up at catcher, you've got probably an MVP caliber player, to be honest with you. If he can actually play catcher at a just average level.
And that's what I'm worried about. Like, aren't you a little worried right now? I
Mhm.
guess. Like, part of me is, what the hell is wrong with the Pirates? And that's a very valid question.
Yeah,
That's probably
it's
one you could
loaded.
ask every single day about every single topic, right? Like, what is wrong with the Pirates? And what I mean by that is they've made sure they're out of this race, right? There was
Yeah,
every opportunity you could have hung on a little bit, right? You could have tried these things they're doing right now earlier to maybe hang on and save some grace for the season to potentially when Cruz comes back, some reinforcements, right? You're closer to deadline. You're making some moves to contend, right? They made sure they didn't do that. So ensuring that you're not competing and you're in last place in the NL Central at this point in time, why is Henry Davis not getting more opportunities behind the plate? So again, is it why are the Pirates so dumb, or is it we should really be worried about Henry Davis catching ability?
I almost have to lean towards the fact that I don't. They must not believe that he can catch.
That's rough.
You really can't think of another reason for not putting like giving him opportunities at all behind the plate. Even just one every 2 weeks, it's not happening.
Right. Like you said, it's
So
been a month and
yeah,
he's come in like in the ninth inning once, right?
yeah, I think he has like one inning behind the plate.
Yeah. That
So
that concerns me.
I would tend to lean that they don't think he's a catcher, but they're also making it so that he can't be a catcher. There's no margin for error there because they're not giving him a shot.
Right. Yeah. That's why again I'm kind of concerned. I understand the point. I mean, now Andy's up here. He's gonna get
Right.
the bulk of the catching as he should. But this whole Austin Hedges thing, are they just so worried? Like they just really, really feel that he's going to help out the pitching staff so much more that it's more valuable to have him do this and help the pitchers that he's the moment that he's in there. That's more valuable than giving Henry Davis experience and opportunities behind the plate in a season that's lost. That's why I'm confused. And I know they said that he would get every opportunity. He would get more opportunities now, but it's been that week, and he
Right.
still didn't see anything behind the plate this week.
Yeah.
Not
And
once.
it's not like he's lighting it up in right field and playing great defense out there so that you don't want to move him because it's a work in progress out there, and rightfully so. He had what 2 games in right field before this year.
Let me look that up. Actually,
I mean,
I think you're before this year. Keyword
now
probably.
he might have had 13 in the outfield before he
Yeah,
got
he
called up.
had. So actually, oh, never mind. 'Cause that's majors.
Oh, good lord.
Um, I think so. I think you're right though. He had more experience this year in right field, but as far as
Right.
previous years, I think it was just 2 last year. Um, but let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because like the one thing about it
Actually, he
was
might not have played in right field at all last year.
might have been left field actually. I know he played
Either
outfield
way,
last year, but regardless, I think Henry Davis. Here's something to talk about, and you see it like in the stolen bases also. Um, we know he has an arm. He's a catcher. That was touted at the draft. You know, like he has an arm. We're seeing that on display. But let's talk about this. Maybe he's more athletic than I expected. So, do you think? I know it's a work in progress, and we're talking how he has very limited time in right field. Do you think that he could become an adequate right fielder?
I think so. I think he's, like you said, he's athletic enough. I think that he could do it. It's just that at the end of the day, that value is not really going to be there as a corner outfielder. And how long is that athleticism really going to hold up? Is he a long term solution there? I don't know. Maybe his long term position's first base, which really you don't love taking a 1-1 player there that ends up
Yeah,
at first base, but and I think that's why a lot of this hinges on his ability to play catcher at some point in his major league career, and maybe robo umps are the reason that happens at some point. But
won't be next year.
maybe that's why they're just keeping the hope alive there. They don't think he can catch right now, but maybe if robo umps come around, Henry Davis can go behind the plate more.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I think he to go back to the question, I think yeah, you can be a good right fielder. It's just I don't know how long in his career he can.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a hope, but that's what I want to put in people's heads too. Like I know it looks pretty bad right now, but again, talking about inexperience, he hasn't had many opportunities there to play and get better.
Mhm.
So I think he can. Like that was one of the things that I guess impressed me. Not that we watched a whole lot of minor league games to see it, but like you saw highlights of Henry Davis and like he made some diving catches. You know, like there's a lot of stuff he was doing out there that left you thinking, wow, maybe he can play right field. And then now we're seeing like his actual athleticism on display. He plays the ball very poorly. And again, I look at that more as just inexperience because that's really what it comes down to. Like every baseball that goes behind his head, we're done. We're done here.
Yeah.
It's
Even
bouncing off the wall somewhere else. He's losing it. Um,
even
yeah,
balls hit in now, he doesn't read them quick enough off the bat.
that's true.
But I mean,
But at least it comes to him.
right, but he's never played in any of these ballparks before. He's hardly played the position before. He's probably hardly played the outfield before. He's been a
Right.
catcher his whole life.
Right. But that's some of the worrisome, you know, like you said, value wise, especially guy 1-1. Like that's gonna be tied to him the entire time. If he's just Henry Davis is the guy that whatever you got, he's a right fielder, that's one thing. But like you took a 1-1 over some players that were shortstops, which we can get into that here in a second. But you know, like they have clear positions. And you take this guy who you're not sure of, like he's listed as a catcher, and he ends up being, like you say, a right fielder or first baseman. That's your 1-1 overall. That's kind of worrisome. And right, like the value absolutely comes a catcher. So I don't know what the plan is. I hope we get a clearer picture towards the end of the season that he will get some, you know, time behind the plate. But I guess I'm leaving it. Like Henry Davis looks to be a dude, but get him behind the plate.
Yeah, and I guess the other part just to add is so many guys get missed on 1-1. So if they do get a first baseman or right fielder that plays really good Major League Baseball, at the end of the day, you can look back and say at least they got a good player out of it.
Yeah,
Because so many guys get missed on 1-1. We know we're Pirates fans. We've seen it.
true. I guess the floor was there. That you
Yeah.
could definitely say with Henry Davis.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy they have Henry Davis. Just, I wish he'd get a little more run behind the plate.
Hey, you all,
Fair
thank
enough.
you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.